Hey guys, welcome back. It is episode 13 of BB Can 7. This season has been such a disappointment. Oh my god, I can't even. Alright, so it's a little crazy. Last time, Sam wanted to shake up the house, so she nominated Mark and Kiki. And Kira has the blood veto, although nobody knows what it does. Not really. Not even Kira, really. At this point, anyway. In real time, yes, they do know, but in the time that the show was filmed, no, they don't. So Mark is worried. He's thinking, should I start to win some comps? Honey, I don't know if that's possible. I mean, you could want to win some comps, but unless they have a comp at being awkward, I don't see it's gonna happen. So Kira tells Sam, you gotta get rid of Mark and save Kiki. Yeah. It was a big mistake, I think, putting Kiki up on the block. I mean, if you wanted to shake up the house, maybe you should have put 2 of the boys up. Come on. So Kira had promised when they got the blood veto that they weren't going to use it, but all that's gone out the window now, even though she's telling Dane, even though they are telling Dane that they're not going to use it. But they definitely would. So Anthony tells Mark, you got to stay calm. You got to make one of those orange shakes that you're always making that look interesting. There was a lot of time wasting in this episode that could have been better spent talking about Adam's plan to backdoor Corey, but they did not even mention it, and it was a huge plot point on the feeds. So Esty is going to do whatever it takes to keep her bestie safe, meaning Kiki, in case you didn't realize, which I'm sure you guys do. She tells Adam, we don't want sheep in the house. We want to get rid of the people that are just sitting back and watching us duke it out, and they're just going to coast their way to the end. So Adam tells Sam, you need to save Kiki and backdoor somebody else. Corey. Which they never mentioned on the show. So Sam was on board with this? Maybe. Or maybe she just wanted Adam to think she was on board with it. So Dane is pissed at Adam because he's thinking like, save Kiki? What about our Peen alliance? You gotta save Mark before you think about saving Kiki. So Mark and Kiki have a very awkward conversation. He still cares for her and wants her in the game, and she does not want him in the game. I mean, she tolerates him, but he is extra. Oh my god. He is doing the most. So it's time for the Adult Swim date, and that was the extent of it. It was Sam eating popcorn like this with her mouth open for at least 20 seconds, and then that was it. That's all they mentioned about it. They're like, I haven't seen a show in so long. Don't talk about the Corey backdoor plan, but talk about Esty dancing around the HOH room for a good 20 seconds, or, I mean, so much useless information in this episode, but that's what they chose. So Damien and Corey have a veto chat. Again, more useless information. Hey, what's up with that blood veto? I don't know. Useless. Then it's time to pick players for the veto, and Kira can't play, so Kira is the host, and Mark and Kiki, of course, are playing in it because they're up on the block, and Damien, Esty, and Adam were picked. So Sam overhears Dane and Adam talking in the storage room, and they're talking about throwing the POV to Mark. Girl, You just caught him in bed with Dane. What are you gonna do? So she busts in there and tells him to keep noms the same. I would have busted in there and said, knocked the two heads together and said, this S has got to stop. You're in a guy's alliance and I keep getting smacked in the face with it, yet I won't do anything about it. So it's time for the POV comp, and it's called Balance of Power. This was a real Survivor style competition. They had balance beams, and I'm really surprised that they were as good as they were during this competition, because they basically had to stay on the balance beam almost the entire time. So they walked across with another beam that they held, you know, like a tightrope walker. And every complete trip, they had to add one more ball until they were able to transport 25 balls back and forth the last time. So this was really difficult. This went on for over an hour. And everybody, I'm surprised, was pretty good at first. But then when they got to around 6, 7, 8 balls, they started dropping them off. And not many people made it over like 20. So I think Kiki was pretty good. She had an advantage because she was the server. So she's good at balancing. And I don't see how Adam did so well, because you wouldn't think he would, because he's taller and he has a higher center of gravity. So you wouldn't think he would be that good with this, but he actually ended up winning it. On the first time of his, I mean, he didn't steamroll 25 through, but, you know, every time you walk across, you might drop a couple of balls, a couple of 10 balls, but you don't have to start over. I think the only time that you have to start over is if you fall off the beam, which Mark did, and he had to start over. But Adam won, and everybody was just like, okay. Because, you know, I guess the plan was to throw it to Mark. But that's not the kind of a competition that you could throw to somebody that sucks. Yeah. And he did. Esty wasn't great either. She was having a rough time. So Kiki's all bummed out after the competition, because she was all gung-ho to win and take herself off the block. But that's not going to happen now. So Sam and Adam have a chat, and Adam said that he didn't want to win that. Oh really, Adam? Why not? It's a little sus, don't you think? So he pretty much admits that there's a guys thing, and she's like, can I trust you? And he's like, can I trust you? And she basically kicked him out of the HOH room because she was disgusted by the whole situation. But yet he's the one you lay with, right? So Kiki got a bed from Leon's by way of Canada. Canada voted and said, one of these sorry have-nots, they can have a bed for one night. Let's give it to Kiki. So it was a nice bed. It was, you know, it looked like a full-size bed. Was it yeah, full-size. I don't think it was a twin. I think it was a little bit bigger. So she got to enjoy that for the night. But she was the only one who could sleep in it. She couldn't share it with any of the other have-nots. Which kind of sucks, you know? But that was the rules. So Dane is freaking out about the blood veto. They also did not stress enough in this episode how much everyone was freaking out about this blood veto all week, because they had zero information about what it did. And everybody was speculating the whole week. I mean, that could have been a really exciting broadcast episode where they showed the complete paranoia in the house about who got to pick the noms, when, you know, how long is this power last? What can be done with it? I mean, nobody knew anything. And when Kira eventually did find out, they were not allowed to talk about it. So, but that's later on. So Kiki said to Adam, you said you were going to take me down before the veto. And what about our fake alliance? You know, I feel really good with me and Esty and you and Dane and Sam. What's up with that? So Anthony goes to talk to his sensei, Adam. Not the other way around. Adam goes to talk to his sensei, Anthony, and Adam's like, what do I do? Sam wants Mark out. And Anthony gives him some lame advice like, oh, just have a conversation with her. And really? This is so lame. So Adam and Sam have a conversation. And why do you want to keep Mark? That's what she says to him. And she's so close calling him out on this boys' alliance and like doing something about it, but she can never close the deal. I think she's the one that's thinking with her other head. I don't think he would have that much of a problem cutting her eventually when he knew he didn't have a choice, but I don't know that she would be able to cut him as quickly as he would cut her. So it's time for the POV. And Mark says, would you use it on me? And Kiki says, whatever you do, I respect it. She always is gung-ho, and then when it comes time for the ceremony, she's just like, oh, whatever. Come on, girl, speak your mind. So Adam does not use the veto, and as soon as he closes that box with the veto in it, Kira gets called to the diary room. This is what we've been waiting for all week, dying on the feeds, waiting to finally hear something, hopefully tonight's show. And do we? No, we don't. All we get treated to is a little clip of Kira sitting on the diary room chair with the info about the blood veto and like, this is freaking great, or, you know, this is freaking nuts. And then they're like, to be continued tomorrow. And all I could think was, F. F. Now we have to wait until tomorrow to find out what's going down with the blood veto. I mean, would it have really killed you, Canada, to let us know just a little sniff of what's going on? Just a little. I mean, just because we know it's not going to change the game. But nope, they're making us wait till tomorrow. So, what do you think of this episode? I didn't like it, because I really wanted to know about the blood veto. But I guess we'll pick it up here tomorrow. And until then, much love.